I've been making games for a few years now, and when I finally decided to take my own path with it and create games as an indie game developer, life has hit me hard. Before my solo game dev adventure, I was a part of a small team. We created a few simple 2D games, where everyone had a scoped part to make, and by combining those small parts, we ended up with a nice game. But when you want to develop your own game, you have to carry every single small part of that project yourself. And that's where I found the hardest part of being an indie game developer. And let me tell you that the small issues for everyone, they could be different, but in my honest opinion, they always combine to one thing. So the hardest thing about being an indie game developer is actually finishing the game. Okay, but let me get deeper into that. Up to this point, I made a lot of prototypes, and even my current project has been in development for a few months. And in my mind, this project is the one thing that I want to finish one day. Other prototypes that I worked on before, they were not ready to be published, or in my mind, they were not suited for that. So I made them purely to educate myself further in game development area. And only the recent project that you can see in the background is the project that I finally want to accomplish one day. And here I've got a list of a few issues that I believe every single developer is struggling with. And for me, on top of that list is time. So, as you could see, in the past few months I didn't post a lot and my game was almost paused to some point, as I didn't have a single day to work on it. As me and my partner, we were in the process of moving to another place, so we need to prepare all of that you can see in the background. And you have to know that game development is a side thing for me, and also maybe it is for you. The game development is not on the top of my list of priorities, so whenever something important comes up, the game development is often the thing that I need to put down just a bit or hit a break on it. And whenever I have a free time, then I can proceed with my game and have fun with it. So if my day could have more than 24 hours, I could spend more time developing my game. So if you're doing it as a side thing like me, then probably it comes after sleep, job, and family. For me, those three things are way more important than game development. And second on my list is the scope of my game. And that has been an issue for a while, because when I first thought about this game, the scope was about half of what it is right now. So if I want to deliver a fun game to you, I had to overscope a bit. And I'm not very proud of that, as it may delay the release of that game into further in the future. And that's not ideal, as at first the scope of the game was something like that, but later, after a few months of development, it went almost double. And right now I'm trying to lower this thing just a little bit to make it possible to even reach the release in 2026. And I'm finally getting back to game development and I have time for it. And let me tell you that before that game that is 3D, I always made games that were 2D. And that's a big step up for me. So while developing this game, I'm learning a lot about 3D, and that education process is slowing down my development, but I'm enjoying it. So I'm thinking that after this game, the next one will be developed faster. Okay, let's move on with it. Sometimes you like to do a few things in game development and you're doing it very fast, very quickly, and you're enjoying the process. But the other parts are not that easy in your mind, as you don't like them as much. And often when you are a solo game developer, you need to do all of those parts. Those that you like and those that you don't like. And often those hated parts in your mind are not being delivered as fast. For example, I like to deal with the script of my game. And on the other hand, things like texturing are on the totally different side for me, as I don't like this part very much. And I yet to meet the person that knows everything about the game development and doesn't get stuck. Often whenever you develop something, you don't know everything about the things that you want to develop. And that simple thing that you wanted to create this evening is starting to get delayed into the future as you don't want to struggle with that issue. And those issues are very common, as whenever I want to develop my game for more than 1 or 2 hours, I find at least one thing that I struggle with, and I need to find the solution for it online. But this in the longer process makes me a better game developer, as I'm constantly learning new things, and maybe next time I won't need to look it up on the internet. Another struggle for indie game developers are often assets. As a developer, you want to develop your game, but you don't have the assets. One option is to create them yourself, but you'll need to learn something about Blender, for example, a new software that will be on your stack. And even then, you won't instantly make good assets like that. You will need to learn and get experience first. And other option in the field of assets is just getting pre-made assets. Maybe you can get them for free, maybe you can pay for them, but that will save you a lot of time. And in my case, a few months ago, my partner started to create a 3D assets for our game. And I'm very happy about that, as 3D assets took a long time for me to make. And for the issues above, here I got a few solutions for you. Like I mentioned, scope of the game. You can try to scope it down somehow. Maybe the final part could be reduced. Maybe there is a lot of plot. Maybe there's too many dialogues in your game. Maybe your game could be still good without that one area. Maybe you can use pre-made assets. And if you don't have money for them, there's a lot of free assets online and you can check them out. Even I've got some on my itch page, links in the description. Also be aware that whenever you'll get more experience while creating your game, then the further projects, the projects that you'll make in the future, they will also be made faster due to your increased experience. Also consider adding a new people to your project, as my partner did, offering the help with 3D assets, and that made a huge impact on the progress of our game. So as I said at the start, actually finishing the game is very hard for most game developers, but that's what I hope that I will achieve in 2026, and also that's what I wish to you as well. Keep making fun games, but remember to finish them. Also, let me know how has it been for you. Do you struggle with issues that I mentioned above? Thanks, and see you next time.